I think I might set up that roof to start with as a bit of a simple roof line to start with. So I'm in the roof layer. I think I'll grab my pencil, go from this intersection of the building out to that intersection that we've created there, and I've got a line that could start being the roof line that we're going to deal with from the start. Now we've got a couple of other options that we can use now. We can either create an offset line from this construction line as to the thickness of the roof, or we can start to draw a piece of our roof back in the plane axes directions. It's a little bit tricky to offset this line in a straight perpendicular plane that would stay in this gabled end plane. So from a beginner's point of view, we might initially keep drawing on roof axis, and it really doesn't even matter how far you draw this back at the moment, but just come from this end point and come back on red axis, or on face, but as long as you see the red axis there would be fine, and set some known distance up. Like we might even work with just 1 meter at the moment. So 1000. I think I might just escape at that at the moment, so I can come down to this other end point, go back also in red axis direction, exactly 1000 again, and then I might close that surface. So by doing that, I've created a plane 1 meter deep just for starters, so I can start creating this roof shape. We'll do something fairly similar to what we've done in the past now. I'll use my push-pull tool to push-pull that roof upwards, let it go anywhere, but then type 145, which is the dimension we used for the main roof as well. We've just got to plumb that roof up exactly the way we did in the last roof, but before we do, we'll need a construction line along this top edge of the roof. So grab your tape measure, click along that edge of the roof, pull away. Doesn't even really matter which way you pull, but type 0. You'll then get a construction line perfectly on that edge. The aim of that was so that we can use the select tool up here, so that we can select this edge of the roof and move that edge from its current endpoint back to that intersection point, which will create a plumb face for us for the fascia. We need to do something very similar to that, we do need to do something very similar to that, but I've just got something else in the back of my mind. I'd really like to pull this edge that we've got at the moment a millimetre away from that wall surface. Why I want to do that is I'd really like to keep this wall surface intact and not intersected by anything else at the moment. If I do that, when I want to, or if I was to import this mass model into Revit, Revit could see this whole simple wall face as one wall, which would be ideal. If I don't, if I leave these points intersecting that wall, SketchUp will break up that wall face into broken up pieces of wall, which would then become a little bit confusing when we took it into Revit. So probably the first thing I need to do is I need to pull this bottom line back by about 1 millimetre, and probably the best way of doing that would be to use the face rather than the line. So I'm going to use my select tool and carefully orbit and zoom in till you can see this back face of the roof, and click that. Then go and find your move tool. It's just that face we want to move, so go and find your move tool, but before you use your move tool, press and release the control key. We're now not moving, we're actually copying, so you're going to leave a copy of that face behind. So I might just click that endpoint now, and while I've got that endpoint, I'm going to make a copy of that endpoint. I'm going to move it down in this direction till it says on edge, and I'm going to pull it away some very small amount that you won't even be able to see in the model, but it will just separate things nicely for us. It could be any small amount. I think just for the sake of, it could be 1 millimeter, but I think for the sake of us as beginners to be able to zoom in and find it later, I think I'm going to make it 10 millimeters. So type 10 and press enter. That has created another face 10 millimeters away, which would enable me to now double click the original face. Remember, right back to our first lesson, I showed you how you can click one item by clicking on it once. Double clicking that face will not only select the face, but will also select the perimeter lines of the face as well. So if you double click on that face and then press delete, you've still got a little bit of tidying up to do. These little lines here, you'll want to delete those one at a time, and you've now got a bit of a roof face that's a little bit away from the main wall. Okay, a little bit more tidying up, and I've got that one, this one down here. Okay, so that's nicely tidying and leaving our main wall intact. So what I want to do now is I want to pull a construction line from this intersection point here, or maybe I don't even need to. I might try this by just selecting that top edge of the roof, moving it from this intersection point here along that edge. No, it doesn't want to do it. I might come out along that edge, so I'm on line, press and hold my shift key, and no, it doesn't want to do that either. Okay, I'm trying to get something that lines up perfectly with this, so I'll just escape out of that in a moment. So we've actually done nothing because I've escaped. I'm going to draw a line using my pencil. I'm going to draw a line from this bottom end point straight up until I've got on blue axis. While I've got on blue axis, I'll press and hold my shift key to constrain myself to the blue axis. I'll then touch this other construction line at the top, or indeed this edge of the roof, either way, and then I've constructed a point that I know I need to move that other line to. So I can now go back and use my select tool to select this top edge of the roof, not the roof face, the top edge of the roof, and move that line from that end point up to that end point. Now you might think that you've now got double lines on top of lines here, but SketchUp doesn't work that way. Other CAD software would. That would be in other CAD software like Revit or AutoCAD. Most CAD packages actually would allow you to draw two lines on top of each other. So we would now have this here. If I just highlight the line I'm discussing, that line just there, we would now have two lines on top of each other. SketchUp doesn't work that way. It won't allow you to have two lines on top of each other, so the fact that we drew one as a bit of a guide to start with really doesn't matter. So I've got this roof plane set up. I don't think I need any of those construction lines at the moment. We might do one more thing actually. We might extend this roof shape out another 150 millimeters, so we've got a bit of a 150 millimeter overhang. So I'll grab my tape measure once again, grab this construction line, pull out, orbit so you can make sure you are going in green axis direction, and when you do get the green axis direction, just type 150. Okay, and I think we should be able to then just move that front face. So click on that front face and use the move command and move it from this top end point out to that end point there, that intersection there, and we've now got a 150 millimeter overhang on that roof. So I'll just use my eraser to swipe out these lines and tidy the drawing up once again. Here, I think we can just get rid of that one as well. I'm only leaving the construction lines down at the origin as the standard ones that I leave behind. If we don't keep tidying up these construction lines as we go, we'd end up with a very messy drawing. So that's another point where we'll do a save, and I'll stop the video here once again.